Hey, somebody for that. We just have some technical difficulties. Make sure we up and running online. So we live now? All right, pal. All right, so we're gonna pick up where we left off. We're gonna go back into James 4:4.
This is the book of James, chapter 4, verse 4. Ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with the Most High?
Ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye that friendship of the world is enmity with God. You understand? Meaning, like, friendship of the world. Like, what does the term world mean? What does the term world mean? Go ahead, bro.
It means like society, right?
Age or society. You see what I'm saying? Like, to be friends with this world, with this age, with this society of people. You understand? It's enmity or opposition to the Most High Himself. You understand? Because the things that's required of us in order to just be a part of this society goes directly against the laws of God, man. Like, if you want to be a part of this society, you you got to vote. You understand? Being a homosexual is something that you better be on board with it. Right. You understand? And furthermore, you better ever call yourself an Israelite. Right. You understand? Well, you can call yourself anything in the earth. We Afro-American. We can call each other Negroes or anything profane. You understand? We can call female bees and all this, hoes this, but we can call each other anything. But when it comes to us calling ourselves Israelites, you understand, that's a no-no. Look at Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon said we was an Israelite. He had to go apologize. You understand? And it's, you call yourself, you call a black man or a Latino any derogatory name, man, you'll sell 1 million records. If you're a rapper, you'll sell 1 million records. You see what I'm saying? Let you say you're Israelite. You understand? They will put you under. They will blackball you and be in your pocket so quick. You see what I'm saying? And you out there doing an apology tour. Like, that's what happened. You understand? Let's finish that scripture.
Come on. Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of the Most High.
Let me say, whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of the Most High, man. And this is heavy. Like, a lot of us don't equate it like that. We don't look at it that way. You see what I'm saying? We think that we're just being cool. We can get along with everybody. Ain't too much that can rattle us and whatnot. Like, I don't know, like, that's what the mindset is, you understand?
God.
But when we are friends with this world, man, we literally become enemies to the Most High.
God.
Which means the Most High does not have His protection on you. You understand? Like, you got brothers out here who are thorough in these streets. You see what I'm saying? They thorough dudes. You see what I'm saying? Like, I mean, ain't too many people rolling up on them or going to deal with them a certain way, yet they still losing their lives, man. Like, we still losing our lives in this street to this day because the Lord does not have His protection on us because we become an enemy to Him. You understand? Like, this is what happens, man. And this is why we got to come out of the Christian church. This is why we got to come out the Muslim mosque. This is why we got to separate ourselves completely from this society. Now, separating ourselves from the society doesn't mean that you don't go to work. It's not what that means. You understand? Like, you have some nuts out there that say, well, if you want to separate, once you go back to Africa, you have black people who say that. Like, black people actually say that. You see what I'm saying? When we separate ourselves, we separate ourselves from this culture, man. You understand? Like, we keep the Lord's high holy days. You understand? We worship the Lord on the Sabbath. We keep His law, statutes, and commandments. We do not celebrate Christmas. We do not celebrate Thanksgiving. We do not celebrate Easter or your birthday. You understand? These are things of the world. And guess what? They'll know it once you start doing it. Once you say, no, I don't keep those days. I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. They take notice. You understand? They take notice. Yeah, I don't celebrate Christmas. I don't celebrate my birthday. You understand? People start seeing you detaching yourself from this society. You understand? And it becomes a problem. And you know where it becomes a problem at first? In your own household. You see what I'm saying? It becomes a problem in your own household. You're changing on me. You know, this ain't the person I met. You see what I'm saying? That's how it always starts. But this is what's required of us, you understand, when we want to get back to serving the Lord, man. The Lord did not come to bring peace on this earth. The Lord came to set us against, you know, your mother, your father, your wife, your sister, her husband. You see what I'm saying? Like, Lord is going to see who's going to stand with him. You understand? But it's better to stand with the Lord than to stand with anyone else on the face of this earth. You understand? Because the Lord can take your life, man. The Lord cannot, not only will the Lord take your life, he can take your children's lives. You understand? Like, that hedge of protection that's over us, that hedge of protection is real, man. Them angels that's watching out for us and watching our families is real, man. You understand? Like, that's a real thing. Like, people don't subscribe to the scriptures, and this is why they can't understand the spiritual concept of it. You see what I'm saying? But these angels are protecting us, man, because when you keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, you're not an enemy of the Lord, man. Like, in the Isupk is the only place that's teaching this. Like, the Isupk is the only place that you can come and be required, man, to serve the Lord. Like, you can go to you can go anywhere else in the church. You can go to the Christian church, to the Muslim mosque, and whatever you were coming in, you'll just be you'll be greater at that. You see what I'm saying? So if you came in pushing coke and dope on the corners, so you go to the Christian church, you might become a kingpin. You see what I'm saying? Like, you got more, you got more, like your order, like your, what they call it? Like the Christian church is the biggest block on the face of the earth. You see what I'm saying? And they getting high there. You understand? They getting high in that Christian church. You understand? If you go into the Christian church a homosexual and you fighting it, you trying to fight it, you ain't gonna fight it once you go in there. You see what I'm saying? You gonna say, I'm in the place I need to be. You see what I'm saying? Let your woman go in that church. Let your woman go in that church, you feel me? Y'all kind of on the fence right now, you feel me? Y'all beefing about something. You understand? Maybe your finances, like, you tell a black Christian woman, hey, I'm broke right now, I ain't got it. I'm trying to tell you, that's like the unpardonable sin. You see what I'm saying? Hey, I ain't got it right now, I'm broke. It brings all types of demons out of them, you feel me? You know what that Christian pastor gonna tell them? You are unequally yoked. You need to let that brother go. You see what I'm saying? And get a man of the cloth. That's what's going to happen in that Christian church. It happens in the Muslim mosque. It happens in these fake Israelite groups. You understand? Like, here in the Isupk is the only place where you're going to not only be taught the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord, but you're going to be required to follow it. You see what I'm saying? Because we're not trying to be friends of this world, man. Because friendship of this world makes us enemies to the Most High. And this is something that we understand, man. And this is also something that we're trying to, this is why we go to the corners every single weekend. You understand? And try to teach our people and try to bring, like, we go and fight for the souls of our people, man. This is the reason why. Because we understand that it ain't the people's fault. Like, it's not that black man that's walking down the street fault that he's getting high. You understand? It ain't that sister's fault that she's a whore. You see what I'm saying? But it is the fault. It does fall on the leaders, man. You know why? Because the leaders should be the shepherds. You understand? Like, if you're a parent and you oversee children, period. If that child is doing something wrong, or he or she's doing something that you know could get them even in trouble, get them punished, get them killed, even. If you ain't teaching them the right way, or if you ain't guiding them the right way, their blood is going to be on your hands. That's biblical, man. The Lord said, my priests and prophets, like, you go and you speak the sins of my people. You tell them about their sins, you understand? If we don't, their blood will be on our hands. But that's why we teach our people and try to wake our people up, you feel me? Because it's not our intention that none of us perish, you understand? Here in Isupk Bmore, we're going after every brother and every sister. You see what I'm saying? You have people who talk about the 2/3. Well, it's only 2/3 going to be saved, boom, yeah, all that nonsense. We want every black, Latino, and Native American to be saved, you understand? We want every sister, every brother to come into this truth, man, and get their life right. You understand? Because guess what? We can bargain with the Lord, man. Yeah, the scriptures say something, but what if? Why do we say that? If you look at Abraham, didn't Abraham bargain with the Lord? He bargained with the Lord when he was over in the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. He said, if I find 50 righteous people, I'll spare all these cities. Abraham talked them over down to 10 righteous people, man. He talked them down to 10 righteous people. So what if we take that attitude that Abraham had and say, you know what? What if we could save all our people, man? You understand? This is the commission. This is what we're sent to do, man. We can't do this if we're friends of the world. You understand? The Lord can't be behind that. You understand? Because we're not going to be doing what He told us to do. If I could, let me get Amos 5:21. Like the Lord does not want us being a part of this society, man. We do everything to appease our oppressor, man. And it's like we've forgotten who our real power is. You got that?
Come.
You good?
Amos chapter 5, verse 21. I despise your feast days.
That's heavy right there. It say I hate. We always taught that God don't hate, right? God is all love. How many times do we hear that? God is all love. God just said, I hate, I despise your feast days. You understand? Keep going.
And I will not smell in your solemn assemblies.
And I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. The Lord is talking about these holidays, man. Keeping the traditions of men. You understand? That Thanksgiving dinner. You understand? Typically we come together. When I say we, I'm talking about blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. We come together and, I guess on that day we thank the Lord for all His blessings here in our oppression. You see what I'm saying? As we roasting that swine, and not knowing that the Lord He's not pleased with that, man. The Lord does not take pleasure in our feast days. He hates them. You understand? Every time we celebrate Thanksgiving or Christmas, the Lord hates it, man. Keep going, bro. Come.
Verse 22. Though you offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, I will not accept them. Neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beasts.
And the Lord is not going to, like, back in the day, like when we used to make offerings, you understand, like, it would pretty much be a cookout. You understand? The priest would actually cook on that, get on that grill and send those aromas up to the Lord, you understand? And this is how we would atone for sin, so to speak. You feel me? Like, we did such and such, you had to bring a bullock, you had to bring X, Y, and Z, depending on your sin. You see what I'm saying? It would be pretty much a cookout. The priest would put it on the grill, cook it up and stuff like that, and that sweet aroma would go to the Lord, and that's how we used to get down. On these holidays, what are we doing, man? We cooking all the meats on the earth. You see what I'm saying? Then we get in that big circle and they pray, you see what I'm saying, and thank the Lord for this feast. We thank the Lord for these crab and this shrimp that we about to eat. You understand? We thank the Lord for this swine and this duck and all these unclean meats, man. The Lord said, I'm not smelling in that, man. You understand? The Lord is not pleased with that. You understand? Like the Lord does not want to take part in that festival. You understand? Keep going, Rob.
Come. Verse 23. Amos chapter 5, verse 23. Take thou away from me the noise of thy song.
It say, take thou away from me the noise of thy songs. Understand? What does this sound like? Go ahead, bro.
Like Christmas carols.
That sounds like Christmas carols, man. The Lord is saying, take these away from me, man. Ain't that what people say? Ain't that what we say? Man, I want to get in the spirit.
Come.
I got to get in the spirit. Silent night. You see what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, and what's so heavy is how they market this thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I done heard Silent Night so long that it's like it's ingrained in my mind. You see what I'm saying? This is Christianity. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is Christianity. The Lord don't want to hear that nonsense, man. He don't want to hear that gospel music. You know, Hezekiah Walker and T.D. Jakes and all that nonsense. He don't want to hear that, man. He said, take thou away from me the noise of thy songs. Keep going.
Come. Amos chapter 5, verse 23. For I will not hear the melody of thy violence.
So I will not hear the melody of thy vows, you feel me? The Lord could care less about that music, man. Matter of fact, he don't even want to hear it. You understand? Lord does not care about, you go into the Christian church and they got that tambourine, they beating it, they doing all that nonsense, you feel me? The Lord does not care nothing about that, man. It's vain worship. It's empty. You know what I mean? Like, you playing music, but at the same time, you teaching my people that we ain't gotta, that they don't have to listen to me, man. They ain't got to keep these laws, statutes, commandments. But you're playing music to me. I don't want to hear your music. You know what I'm saying? Let me get Proverbs 28:9.
There's the book of Proverbs, chapter 28, verse 9. He that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayers shall be an abomination.
And this is why. They say, he that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer is an abomination, man. So like, when we hear the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, we've been taught law, when we hear the term law as blacks, Latinos, and natives, it gives us, it's a negative vibe to it, you feel me? Because law has been used to oppress us. You understand? But the Most High law, statutes, and commandments actually uplift us. You understand? So a lot of times we turn our ear away from hearing this law, man. A lot of times, man, I ain't trying to hear all that nonsense, you feel me? They geeky. You see what I'm saying? The Lord said, okay, you turn your ear away from hearing my laws, I'm going to turn my ear away from hearing your prayers. Like, that's a scary thought right there, you feel me? But it's a scary thought because that one time that you say, man, I ain't trying to hear all that nonsense, you feel me? They talk about, you got to keep this and you got to keep that, man. I'm going to eat these crabs. I'm going to this crab feast, you feel me? Like, man, God ain't going to do, he ain't going to hurt me over eating no crabs. What am I doing to somebody, you feel me? The Lord said don't do it. But guess what? When something happened to your son, when something happened to your daughter, something happened to your mother, your father, you understand? It may not be you. It may be somebody close to you. It may be somebody that you love. And you praying for the Most High to pull them through. Hey, Lord, please, give me one more chance, you feel me? You do this, I'll do this. You see what I'm saying? Like, we've all been there. You see what I'm saying? The Lord said, I'm not going to hear that. You see what I'm saying? And your moment of despair when you pray to me, I'm not going to hear that because you did not hear my law. You see what I'm saying? That's a scary place to be in, man. You understand? And unfortunately, too many of us know that feeling as opposed to that feeling of having a hedge of protection, man. Right now, here in Baltimore City, it's ridiculous, man. I only know the murder rate right now, you feel me? But every single year, it's between 350, close to 400 murders in Baltimore City, man. Senseless murders, man. Why is that? Because we're not hearing this law, man. Our leaders are not teaching us these laws, statutes, and commandments, man. And because we're not being taught these laws, statutes, and commandments, we feel like we ain't got hearing. But we don't realize there's a flip side to that coin. That if we don't want to listen to the Most High ain't gonna hear us either. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is like, the Christian church paints this picture of the Most High as him being something docile, somebody you can play with, you know, somebody effeminate that you can disrespect, almost like a woman. Right. They paint the picture of the Most High like he's a woman. Like you can disrespect him all day long, but then when you need something from him, then you can go to him and everything's supposed to be sweet. That ain't the way it works. So the Most High is a man of war, man.
Come.
You see what I'm saying? If you're gonna carry me, you gonna carry it this way? Okay. You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna carry it this way too. You see what I'm saying? You don't want to hear my laws? Okay. I ain't gonna hear them prayers, and you gonna need them.
Right. Come.
You see what I'm saying? Like, and this is what we gotta understand, man. Because every time we become a friend to this world, we become an enemy to the Lord, man. We become that person that the Lord don't want to hear. We become the person that the Lord does not want to protect. You understand? Like, we become that person. You understand? Like, I don't care how tough we think we are. I don't care how hard we think we are. How good we think we can fight. How many guns we think we got. You see what I'm saying? If the Lord is not with us, man, we have nothing.
Come.
You understand? Like, the Lord being with us is everything. That's how in biblical times, that's how wars were won. You understand? Wars were won because the Lord was with us. We would go to battle with 300 men, fighting thousands of men, and we would be victorious, not because we were just that mighty, it's because the Lord was with us. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed, huh? You know, our brothers that just went down in Texas, they just went down to Cooler, you know, and fed our Haitian brothers, you understand? In the midst of all the violence and turmoil going on, on the Mexican border, you understand? The cartels and whatnot. In the midst of all of that, guess what? None of our brothers were touched, man. You understand? None of our brothers were touched. Every brother that went down there came home. You understand? Because the Lord was with them. The Lord is with the Isupk. Whether these Christian churches or these fake Israelite groups want to believe it or not, the Lord is with the Isupk, man. And the Lord is with us because we understand something about these scriptures. These laws, statutes, and commandments are real, man. And we have to follow them. If we ain't following these laws, statutes, and commandments, man, what are we doing? You know, we're spinning wheels, you understand? Repeating the same cycle over and over and over and over again, you understand? It's only when you start keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments you recognize that you can be a free man even in the midst of your oppression, you understand? And this is why the Isupk, this is why we can be as bold as we are. You understand? Because we serve the Lord. You understand? Like when you, as a child, right? When a child knows that they've done everything the parent has said to them, that child can be confident then, right? That child can come to the parent, hey dad, can I boom? Like, you can see it in their spirit. They don't hold back nothing because they know that they played their part. They've done exactly what their parent has asked them. But what about that child that has not? That child that know that they cut a corner. That child that know that they ain't did something that their parent told them to do. They can't be as confident. You understand? What if I get found out? You understand? You can't be as confident now. So that one confident kid, you know, your brother or sister, you get mad at them. Look at him. That's when you start hating. You see what I'm saying? He over there, he arrogant. You feel me? He cocky. No, he ain't cocky. He just did what he was supposed to do. You ain't. You didn't. You really the arrogant one. You see what I'm saying? This is a spiritual lesson. You see what I'm saying? When we serve the Most High, you can be as bold as a lion, man. Because the Most High is with you. And this is what we got to understand, man. When we don't do what the Lord said, we become the enemy of the Lord, man. If I could, let me get Proverbs 3 and 31 up the show. Hey, brother, if you can read too. Yeah, you can take it.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor.
I say, envy thou not the oppressor. You understand? Like, we're not to envy our oppressor, man. This so-called white man that we're under, we shouldn't envy him, man. Like, we see his wickedness. We see the things that he do in this earth, man. And we start to envy those things because it seems like he's being successful. Like, the so-called white man is the biggest drug dealer on the face of the earth, man. He's the real gangster in the earth, you understand?
Right.
Like, them Italians, they are the real gangsters. A black man is not a gangster, man.
Right.
Black man, we are not gangsters. You see what I'm saying? That so-called white man is a real gangster. He's the biggest drug dealer. He's the biggest murderer, the biggest liar. You understand? The biggest rapist on the face of the earth. You understand? But guess what? We watch and see what he do, and it seems like he's successful in his endeavors, right? It seems like when the so-called white man, when he shipped coke and dope, and he said he has airplanes full of cocaine, and they putting it in military coffins. You see what I'm saying? He gets rich off of that. He gets rich off of all those wicked things. You understand? So as a black man in our oppression, we say, well, if he getting rich doing that, I can't I? But what we got to realize is we are the children of the Lord. So whereas that so-called white man, he'll get away with, and it seems like he's being successful. But as soon as we sell, you have a dime bag of cocaine, and you're gonna get a RICO charge. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Like, is it true that some people that caught with weed are still in the jail leaving to sell weed, like it's now legal?
Absolutely. You understand? Like, we look at this oppressor, and because it seems like he get away with all his crimes, we feel like we can adapt and we can imitate him and do the same thing he do. But we don't realize that if we belong to the Lord is going to punish us different. Go ahead, each one. The Lord is going to punish us different because we're his children. You understand? For instance, if you have a child, and you teach your child, hey, listen, I don't want you standing in the corner with them brothers, man. You walk by, you can speak and stuff like that, I don't want you hanging on the corners. You come out, your son, he out there on the corners, and he doing the same thing they doing, you feel me? Who you gonna punish? You gonna punish your child, why? He's yours, and you told him different.
Right.
You told him, man, you're not going to do this. You feel me? It's the same thing with the Lord. The Lord told us what we're supposed to do and what we're not supposed to do. You understand? So we get punished for our crimes.
Right.
You understand? Whereas the so-called white man, it seems like he's successful in all his endeavors. So that's why we take on his culture. Black men, like, we think that, that's why we call ourselves Gotti. If you look at the black man, we got Italian names. We Gotti. What's another one? Capos, and look at Capone. Like, we take on all of these names and stuff like that because we're imitating a culture that's not ours.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? We not gangsters, man. We not gangsters. Like, them Italians are real gangsters. They extorting people. You go up, they say up in New York at one time, you feel me, every window they got up, the mafia got 25 cents off of it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, they funded their entire economy by being gangsters and by being criminals.
Right.
We don't do that. In order for us to do it, we got to kill each other.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, that's not our culture. That's why the scriptures say, envy thou not the oppressor. Keep on.
And choose none of his ways.
That's saying choose none of his ways, man. Like, we're to choose none of his ways. And like, it say choose for a reason. Because we always have another option. You understand? Like, before we do the evil that we do, we can actually choose something different. I mean, like a lot of times we say, oh man, I made a mistake. But the option was laid there before you.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You know, because the so-called white man said that drugs, that weed is legal, you know, the Lord said that you shouldn't, you should not be smoking. You should not be using recreational drugs. You understand? It's one thing if you have a medical use for something, and it's prescribed by a physician. You understand? Mm-hmm. That's different from using something recreational. Right. That's biblical, man. You understand? So when we use recreational drugs, we do it because the so-called white man, that gave his license to it. He said, man, you can go in and smoke that coke, smoke that dope. You understand? And we, I get it. Wow. And we, okay, he said we can do it. Let's go ahead and let's go get a weed farm. I'm too old. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what we do. So-called white man say, you know what? You could be a homosexual, you feel me? And no one's going to bother you. Well, because he said I could be one, guess what? I'm going to become one. Like, that's what happens, man, when we choose his ways, man. The Lord say, man, envy him not, and do not choose none of his ways, man. Because his ways are wicked and they're immoral, you feel me? And this is not the type of people we are. Like blacks, Latino, and Native Americans, like, we come from a rich culture, man. We have a rich heritage, man. Our pedigree is stamped and approved. You see what I'm saying? And every time we give our spirit to another nation, we become just as wicked as them. That's why a brother will kill another brother. Like, go ahead, right?
So, if I may, and also, like, when we do what another nation does, we start to die off quicker. I'm trying to explain this right. Like, when they do it, and then when we do it, we die off quicker. Like, especially like the dietary laws. Like,
right.
Like when we eat the stuff we ain't supposed to eat, like with the Chinese eat,
right.
We start dying. Like, the high blood pressure,
right.
Our health just starts deteriorating.
Right, and that's a heavy point. Like, that's a heavy point because that goes into what we were saying earlier. Because we are the Lord's people, we'll be punished different than when they get punished. You understand? Like, there's more so-called white homosexuals than it is black homosexuals. You understand? But when it comes to HIV and AIDS, the so-called black man and black woman is number one. Right. You see what I'm saying? There's more. You know, you watch a Netflix special or something like that. They eating all types of animals and things out the ocean, and you like, man, what the hell is that? You see what I'm saying? They not obeying no dietary laws. But the moment we start eating pork, we the number one in high blood pressure, the number one in gout, the number one in diabetes. We gotta get our legs cut off. You see what I'm saying? Like, all these afflictions take hold of us. You understand? And they take hold of us because the Lord taught us that we ain't supposed to do that. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's why the Lord said, do not choose none of their ways, because when we choose their ways, we die. You understand? When a black man kills another black man, it's because he's looking at that brother through the lens of the so-called white man. You understand? Because when we're in our right spirit, there's nothing a brother can do to me. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to go kill it. You know, man, he looked at me wrong, you feel me? Like, I'm gonna have to go get with Joe. I mean, I'm gonna go kill him. Like, you in your right spirit, you can't even think like that, man. But as soon as you get in the spirit of that oppressor, he ain't worth nothing. I'm gonna get this done, you feel me? He ain't nobody to me. I don't know him. He ain't my peoples. You see what I'm saying? When we start looking at each other from that lens, that's why a brother can go and shoot another brother, or stab another brother, or take a brother's rib. You see what I'm saying? Man, when we're in our right spirit, man, listen, when a black man is in his right spirit, you feel me, there's nothing more righteous to see on the face of the earth, man. You come into the ISUPK and you just come to one of these high holy day functions or one of these cookouts or one of the events, man, and you see all these brothers from different walks of life who congregate in one place. It ain't no beefing. Every brother's masculine, and it ain't no war. You see what I'm saying? That's such a righteous thing to behold. I remember my first Passover, man. Like, my first Passover sticks in my head because of how many brothers that was in one place at one time, and wasn't no beefing. It wasn't no wars. You feel me? And it wasn't like because it was suckers in the room or nothing like that. Every brother is, we got each other. Hey, brother, it's like, you feel me? But the thing is, the brotherhood was so strong, man. And that's the one thing that we don't have amongst each other, because we start adapting the cultures of other nations, man. You know what I mean? We come back to this culture and we realize that the Lord expects us to treat each other a certain way. The Lord expects us to talk to each other a certain way, to deal with each other according to these commandments, man. That's what the Lord expects from us, man. Once we understand that, we're not going to be out here shooting and killing each other, man. We're not going to go out here seeking to do harm to our brother or our sister. You see what I'm saying? Instead, we'll be trying to uplift each other. You see what I'm saying? And this is the spirit and the vibe here in the UPK. This is the Lord's spirit, man. And this is what we got to understand. We're going to drop that. Let me get Isaiah 51 and 23.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 51, verse 23. But I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee.
If I could start in verse 22, Bubba, sure.
Verse 22. Thus saith the Lord. Thus saith thy Lord, the Lord, and the God that pleadeth the cause of his people. Behold, I have taken out of thy hand the cup of trembling.
Listen, the Most High said, listen, I'm going to take out of your hand the cup of trembling. You feel me? Like, what is that cup of trembling to a black man? You understand? Like, what is a cup of trembling to a black man, to a Latino man, to a Native man? You understand? Go ahead, bro. Like police brutality. You understand? You see what's going on. You see what's happening on the border right now.
Right.
Like, no one in the earth is speaking on what's going on to our Isupk brothers on that border, man. You have so many children that's been kidnapped and sold into sex slavery, never to be heard from again. You understand? And no one says nothing about it. Go ahead, bro.
It's like, so even in D.C., all the black girls are missing.
Even in D.C., you got young black girls coming up missing every single week, man. You understand? That's the cup of trembling. The Lord said, guess what? He said, I've taken out of thy hand the cup of trembling. Keep going, Bubba, the show. He said, even
the dregs of the cup of my fury.
Even the dregs of the cup of my fury, you understand? What's the cup of the Lord's fury? That's like when the Lord gets furious, man, people die. You understand? Like, people die. Like, I remember General Hyman spoke on it. He says, imagine that angel, and he got his sword out the sheath. You understand? He got that sword out over certain cities. That's why you see so much death in those cities. You understand? That's the Lord's fury, man. You understand? I say, even the dregs of the cup of my fury. Keep going.
Thou shalt no more drink it again.
Thou shalt no more drink it again. Like, there's going to come a day, man. We won't tremble. We won't tremble every time we see a police get behind us. We won't tremble, when, this is frequent in black, man, in any hood. You the man in your hood. So go over 2 blocks into the next hood, you feel me? And it's like, it's World War III. You see what I'm saying? Like, here in Baltimore, if you from Emerson Village, you beefing with guys on Hilton. It's literally a half a block separated.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You from Park Heights, you can't go to Cherry Hill. You from Cherry Hill, you can't go to Park Heights. You understand? You can't go down the hill if you from this hood. If you from that hood, you see what I'm saying? Like, that won't be our vibe no more, man. The Lord is going to take that away from us. That's not going to be the life that we live in this kingdom coming up, man. Keep going.
But I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee.
They say, but I will put it into them of the hand, and put it into the hand of them that afflict thee. So the Most High is going to take that cut from us, and He's going to give it to our oppressor.
Right.
You understand? That's why we're not supposed to choose none of His ways. You understand? Because the Lord is going to take all of that, all that fury from us, all that trembling from us, and He's going to pass it on to them. You understand? Keep going.
Which have said to thy soul, bow down.
And say, which have said to thy soul, bow down. This is what our oppressor requires of us here in this nation, man. That's why we say, man, this oppressor requires for us to be an enemy, because he requires our soul.
Right.
You understand? And he wants our soul to bow down to him, man. You understand? Like, it's not good enough that you go to a slavery and you do your job. He wants you to smile and tap dance, and you gotta be in a good mood.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You can't you done work damn near 80 hours and still can't pay all your bills at the end of the week, you feel me? And you supposed to come in there and smile for him.
Right.
Be in a good mood, man. Where's that smile up to date, buddy?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? How was your weekend?
Right.
You feel me? Man, I went through hell. I couldn't pay all my bills, you feel me? My lights got cut off, you feel me? I mean, I had to go and do X, Y, and Z, you feel me, just to make sure I had heat in the house for this winter.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And you ask me how my weekend is. You want me to have a smile on my face, though I'm living in hell. You see what I'm saying? That's because they require our soul, and they say bow down. Like, this is what our oppressor requires of us, man. Any other nation of people, they do not require this of. That East Indian can do whatever the hell he want to do, you feel me? And he can stay amongst his people. They have not integrated into the society. The Asians have not integrated into this society. The only people that is required to integrate into the society is blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans.
Right.
We have to. Because Lord forbid a black man say, I only want to deal with my people. Are you a racist?
Right.
What's your problem? Do you hate me?
Right.
But let any other race of people do it, nothing gets said.
Right.
You understand? That's because they know who we are. They know that we the Lord's people, man. And like the scripture just say, which have said to thy soul, bow down. Keep going.
That we may go over, and thou hast laid thy body as the ground, and as the street to them that went over.
And say that we may go over, and thou hast laid thy body as the ground, and as the street to them that went over. That's talking about all of the bloodshed, all of the murder that's occurred to our people, man. Like right here in America, like in North America, period, we're walking on the flesh and bones of the North American Indians, man. You understand? Like we're literally walking on the flesh and bones of our brothers and sisters, man. Like, this is what they've done to us. And they require our soul, man. They require our soul so much that in order for us to serve the Lord, in order for us to have or to even appear like we have some kind of success in this society, we have to be an enemy to the Lord, man. That's why you look at a professional athlete. That's why you look at an entertainer. You see what I'm saying? They require of them their soul, man. You understand? They paying a heavy price to make that money, and that price is being an enemy to the Lord, man. You understand? We have to be an enemy to the Lord in order to dwell in this society and achieve what they consider success, man. And that the Lord say, choose none of his ways, man. We have to choose none of his ways, man. We got to put our spirit back on as black men, you understand? And we got to take hold. Like, we have to take hold of the things that the Most High have taught us, man. And the only way we're going to learn what the Most High has taught us is by coming into this Isupk. We got to come into the Isupk, man, and understand what these laws, statutes, and commandments are, man. Like, because outside of here, it's not being taught. Like, this is the only safe haven for our people. Like, the only safe haven for blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans is the ISUPK, man. Across this entire earth. You understand? There's no Christian church, there's no Muslim mosque, there's no fake Israelite group. None of those places are going to actually teach you how to serve the Lord, man. What they're going to do, they're going to teach you how to be a friend of this world. And it's going to make you an enemy to the Lord, man. That's what happens day in and day out. You understand? That's why so many of us have so many afflictions. You know, so many of our kids, so many parents got to bury kids. You understand? That's unnatural. It's not natural for a parent to bury their kid. You feel me? What's more natural is for that kid to bury the parent. But because we're not being taught certain things, the Lord can't even take pleasure in the young men no more. You feel me? That's in the scriptures too. You understand? The Lord can't even take pleasure in his young men no more because we start taking on these other cultures, man, and we become something that's not pleasing to the Lord, man. You understand? And unfortunately, a lot of us don't even know. A lot of us don't even know the things that we're doing is against the Lord. Because our so-called leaders has led us astray, man. Our so-called leaders are the reason for every murder in the blacks, Latino, and Native American community. You understand? Like, if you want to, you can blame Martin Luther King. You can blame Martin Luther King himself for every murder in the black, Latino, and Native American community. You understand? Because, listen, before we integrated, we actually loved each other. That was love in the black community, you understand? That little slither of time that we had when we were integrated, you understand? Black families actually, you know, we own businesses in our community. Black families were together. You understand? You had that black man in the house. You understand? Martin Luther King came along and said, listen, I want to see a black boy and a white girl get together. I want to see them dwell in unity. You understand? And next thing you know, our entire livelihood, man, that brother had to get out the house. Understand? The Welfare Act came around. In order for that woman to get benefits for them kids, that brother can't be in the house now. They doing inspections. You see any boots in that house, you feel me? That house ain't getting fed. You know what I mean? Black man gotta get out the house. Next thing you know, the kids running astray, doing whatever they want to do in the streets. You see what I'm saying? Mother, she horned. Ain't got a clue as to how to raise them kids no more, you feel me? And now we're left with what we see today. You see what I'm saying? You could thank our leaders for that, man. You could thank our leaders for that. Like Psalms 83:3 say, they are confederate against thee. You understand? Like what we see today is not coincidental. You know what I mean? This was planned and plotted on years ago. You understand? We're going to destroy them by destroying that brother. You understand? Like what's the scripture? What's the scripture say? If you bind the strong man, like can you find the scripture? I mean, you bind that brother up. I mean, that whole household is going to fall. That's how important a black man is to his family, man. Like family is the strongest thing in the black community. I mean, you kick that power out the house can't stand. Anybody can come in and do whatever the hell they want to do to it. But if that strong black man is in that house, you better beware. You know what I mean? Because that black man is going to fight for his family. Contrary to what they say, black men actually love their families, man. Black men love their children. Black men love their women. You see what I'm saying? They won't tell us that, though. You feel me? They make it seem like we just stupid individuals that's just living day for day. Nah, man. Black men love their families, man. You got that?
This is Matthew chapter 12, verse 29. Or else how can one enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods? Except he first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house.
That's how it is. You feel me? How can you read that again?
Come. Matthew chapter 12, verse 29. Or else how can one enter into a strong man's house?
How can you enter into a strong man's house? You understand? Like, if you go into a strong man's house, what do you got to expect?
Yeah.
Yeah, you better expect something. You better expect some kind of fight,
Come.
some kind of resistance. You see what I'm saying? Keep going.
And spoil his goods,
And spoil his goods. You understand? Keep going.
except he first bind the strong man.
Except he first bind the strong man. When they say spoil his goods, that means make his goods no more good. Like, to spoil something means that whatever it is, it's no longer, it doesn't have a use no more. You feel me? Like, if you take milk, when milk spoils, it's no good.
Right.
You understand? What's the goods of a black man?
Sure.
His family. You spoil his goods, you see what I'm saying? Except he first bind that strong man, you understand? Keep on.
Come. And then he will spoil his
And
house.
then he will spoil his house. You see what I'm saying? So you go in there and you bind that black man, you feel me? Get him high. You know, give him a little bit of crack, a little bit of heroin. You see what I'm saying? Tell him he could be a homosexual. You see what I'm saying? You go ahead and bind him up. You can spoil his household. You can raise his kids. You can raise that woman. You feel me? As long as we get him out the way, we can give her a job promotion. She'll do whatever we tell her to do. You understand? We'll raise her children for her. She don't know no better. I mean, a brother gonna see through all that. You understand? You come to a brother house with some nonsense, man. What you say?
Come.
What's your purpose here?
Come.
You know, what you want? What you want? Come. You know, what you say to my son?
Come.
What you say to my daughter? What's the brother? Serena Williams' father. The Williams sisters' their father.
Come.
You see how he checked them reporters back in the day? They tried to talk to his daughters. Hey, watch your mouth when you talk to my daughters.
Come.
Don't ask them some kind of questions. That was a strong black man. You feel me? Who protected his kids. They make the brother LeVar Ball seem like he wicked. Check this out. You ain't gonna talk to his sons a certain way. You ain't gonna treat his sons a certain way. You see what I'm saying? That's that strong black man, and that's how we protect our families, man. But guess what? When he's gone, and that black woman is in overcharging the house, that oppressor can come in and he can spoil them, man.
Come.
He give her a job, and, you know, she making a couple of dollars and whatnot, you feel me? Her loyalty is to him. So now he can raise the kids, you feel me? He tell them kids to be whatever the hell he want to tell them to be, you feel me? And they're going to be coming. I mean, the so-called white man has raised our children, man. That's why a lot of our children are dead or in jail right now. They call it the prison, they call it what is it, the pipeline to prison? Yeah, from elementary school right into the prison cell. You see what I'm saying? He's raising our kids. This is why our kids are dying, because he's spoiling our kids, man. Go
It's
ahead.
like, so, you know, I think you already heard, they build jail cells, jail cells based off of third graders' reading scores.
There you go. There you go, man. And this is also why, like, say you got that strong father, man. Your son come home, you know, he ain't doing something right. That father gonna be on him. That father, he's gonna get the best out of his son. You see what I'm saying? The world may think he being cruel, but guess what? His son is going to pretty much perform and do as that father told him to do. You see what I'm saying? When that father's not there, that young boy has every excuse in the book. You can see a young dude who don't have a father. He's very emotional. You can't say nothing to him. He always got something to say back. You see what I'm saying? You know, you can't tell him be quiet. He gets just like his mother. I mean, you tell a woman to be quiet, you feel me? It's like their head turns 360, you feel me? You tell her, hey, shut your mouth. What? Like they go off. So imagine that little boy saying that his entire life, you feel me? And you tell her, hey, shut your mouth. He gonna have the same reaction as that woman, you feel me? Whereas though if his father taught him that, his father told him shut his mouth. And it's okay to shut your mouth. You see what I'm saying? He wouldn't get offended. He would just follow the order. You see what I'm saying? This is what happens, man, when we start following this oppressor and we start taking on his cultures, man. It gives them access to bind that strong man up and spoil our family, man. And unfortunately, that's what happens in our communities. We got to come together, man. I mean, like the scripture say, gather yourselves together, and we got to separate from this society. We got to separate from the cultures that's around us. You understand? And we got to come back to keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments and doing it the way the Lord told us to do it, man. And with that, we're going to bring up Priest and Officer Uriah Allah for a reading of the security announcements. Shalom, Israel.
Let's give that priest a powerful hand again. ISUK security announcements. We have ISUK on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, there are offerings for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to show themselves in the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or a sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18:21 and Malachi 3:8-10. Means tenth in Hebrew, it is pronounced Ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase of the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocation, or well, the upcoming feast is Hanukkah, and that is November 28th. That's on November 28th, so that's coming around the corner. Reminder Akim and Akwafnim to check on social media such as ISBK, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISBK events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirts, pants, headband, or scarf. And with that, Amani. Men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Amanim Shabbat, Amanim, Barak, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua Barakatah, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua Barakatah, Yom Yom Atah, class dismissed.